When our kids were little, we had this phrase that we would use. It's not a very nice phrase, but I'm going to tell you anyway. We had this phrase that we would use if we were, like if our kids wanted to watch something on TV. Kind of our phrase was, that has a few turds in the brownies. And here's, you can probably guess what that means. If someone were to make you brownies and they put dog poop into the brownies, you probably wouldn't eat them, even if only there were a few in the brownies. That is kind of a disgusting phrase to communicate what Paul is communicating in Galatians chapter 5, when he says, this false teaching is like a little yeast that spreads throughout the whole batch of dough. See, when you're making bread and you want the bread to rise, you put just a little yeast into the bread, and that's what causes it to rise. Like, I don't know how that works, okay? I don't understand the science of cooking. But when you want bread to rise, you put a little bit of yeast in it, and it rises, and it spreads and impacts throughout the entire dough. In the same way that if you put a few turds in your brownies, you probably wouldn't eat your brownies. And the point being, of course, like when we watch things, what we watch does have an impact on our souls. It does have an impact on our mind. And if something is bad for us, even if there are only a few, if something is bad for us, we probably shouldn't participate in it. And that is a lot like the false gospel. It can look really good. It can look really appetizing. But ultimately, it is a false gospel that will only lead to our chaos, death, and destruction. And this is the thing that Paul is trying to communicate to the church, to the churches of Galatia, and the Holy Spirit is communicating to us, is it may seem like it's not very harmful to participate in different aspects of false gospels. It may seem like it's not very harmful to like honor the Sabbath. What's the harm in honoring the Sabbath? What's the harm in doing these little things in an effort to earn or maintain our salvation? And what Paul's saying is that is going to spread throughout the whole thing. So if we were to bring that forward in our own minds, as we've talked, we don't read the Bible to earn or maintain our salvation, right? We don't pray to earn or maintain our salvation. We don't do these things in ways where we depend on them to give us a higher value or more of a closeness with God. We do things, and this is going to come out, and this has been coming out over the past few weeks as we've gone through Paul's letter to the church of Galatia. We do things because we're in a relationship with God. Not to maintain that relationship, but as demonstrations of what that relationship looks like. And to be fair, Paul is not saying that there's something wrong with honoring the Sabbath. Paul's not saying that there's something wrong with honoring food laws. What he's saying is, even in the slightest way, if you think that is going to earn you something with God, then that's a little yeast that is spreading throughout the whole batch. Your attempts, my attempts, well, we won't make it about you, we'll make it about me. My attempts to earn something with God are like turds in the brownies. It's something that is going to ruin everything unless I am utterly focused on the work that Jesus has done for me. So what I would encourage you to do is think about the ways that false gospels work their way into your own mindset, and how these false gospels don't really point us to Christ. They point us to ourselves. They point us to us feeling good about what we're doing in order to be close to God. And the reality is they don't do that. They don't move us closer to God. They move us farther away from Him, and they move us closer to ourselves. So I want to just let you know that I love you, and I'm praying with you, and I'm praying for you today. And to think about the way that little things sneak into your relationship with God. And if the brownies have turds in them, don't eat them. If the gospel that you are engaging is a false gospel, even in the slightest way, I would discourage you from participating in that false gospel. We'll talk to you again soon.